So I had some time on my hands today, and I thought, well, we've done a video looking at this build. This is the Eiger-3 Camper build from the side, from the front. Now I thought, why not show it from the back? Because there are certain things that you can only see from the back view. So it might be interesting. Um, First thing on this drawing, I'm actually showing the sidewalls of the van itself, just to kind of provide some context. And I'm also kind of showing a surround, which is meant to indicate the opening for the rear doors. So just keep that in mind. So again, starting off with a foundation of subfloor and finish floor. On the subfloor, we're leaning towards the AVC rig flooring system, the 3-panel insulated flooring system for the Ford Transit 148-inch long version, and probably putting some form of vinyl finish floor on top of that, either sheet or plank. I'm not sure at this point. After we do that, then we're going to start adding furniture. And one of the first things we're going to be adding is this little cabinet here, which is an ottoman, which is going to be a place where we can put our feet up, get comfortable. We can use it in a couple different ways, but it not only makes it a little bit more comfortable just to hang out in the van, but it also provides storage for the porta potty. So to use it, there's a board cushion on the top. Flip the board cushion off, use the porta potty, put the board cushion back, and that porta potty goes away. And yeah, so we just have to figure out a way to keep that cabinet from sliding around on the vinyl flooring, and that'll be a fun little research project to get that done. So that's the first thing we're probably going to put in. The second thing we'll put in is a fridge, and we're looking at the Iceco 60-liter. I believe it's the VL60 Pro S is the one that we're looking at, which opens from the side and rotates up. It's got a really great lid. You can actually open it from either side, but because of where we're positioning it, it'll just open from one side. But it's removable. We can put it around camp if we want. It has USB outlets. It's dual power, so we can run it off AC if we want, in addition to DC. It's a fantastic fridge. But we have a small cabinet underneath it, which is we're calling a fridge riser, which elevates the fridge up, makes it a little bit easier to access everything that's inside. Plus, it provides a cubby for shoes, so it's a place to just stash shoes and get them out of the way, so you're not tripping over them. Also, in that riser, on the kind of back side of it, will be an enclosure for the Webasto air tub heater, which it's a fantastic product. It's going to be running off of the gas fuel from the vehicle fuel tank and DC power, and it's going to provide more than enough heat for the interior of this van. And also we're going to put a light under there with a red component for a night light. Next will be what we're calling our bench bed, which is essentially a rock and roll bed that can be positioned in an upright situation for sitting. We are having these slide bolts on both sides. This one will engage with the wall of the van, and the other one on this side, on the driver's side, will engage with the full height cabinet, which I'm show in a minute. And then underneath will be an opening for a drawer, and that is a very large drawer, half of which is going to be storage. The other half will house some of the key electrical components for the electrical system for the van. Oh, and on the back, you can see here that is indicative of the tabletop for the pivot table, which can be unscrewed from its supporting leg and then clipped into the back of that seat back, so it's out of the way. Let's move on. I'm trying to do this more quickly than previous videos. The next thing we'll be putting in is the water tank, the water pump, and the galley. And along with the galley will be the control panel, which you can kind of see over here is sort of facing towards the side of the van. The control panel is located there to centralize all the controls for all the systems in the van and make it easy to get at all those things in one place while sitting at the bench. So it's just super easy to control everything. There'll be a Rivati 15-inch sink, a sprayer type faucet, and a 19-gallon water tank underneath, which will be kind of partially under the galley and partially under the next the full height cabinet that's going in adjacent to it. But I removed the bench bed from this drawing because in order to get the galley in and do all this work, the bench bed needs to be removed. And in fact, all the furniture in this build is modular, and it's all designed to be able to be removed easily. We'll have bolt connections and brackets, etc., that will connect the pieces that are adjacent to each other, but also connected to the floor and then also to the wall as necessary. I don't think the galley will be connected to the wall, but or fastened to the wall, but the full height cabinet that I'm going to show definitely will be, and probably at the top. So anyway, that's that, and then the next thing we'll be putting in, still with the bench bed out of the van, is the pivot table. And you can't really see it. You can see it in previous videos that I did, but here's the leg for it. This is the sleeve mounting base. There'll be two of them, one on sort of the corner of the galley and one on the front face of the fridge riser, just to be able to provide different locations for the table and different ways to use it. But it's currently shown in its sort of stored position where the table itself is immediately above the fridge. And we got this idea from the Westie. We really love that idea of a table that has a store position so it's out of the way, but it's easily rotated and repositioned so that you can use it. And it just, I've seen table situations or these kinds of things where the table is it's just in the way, and I really like this. Without having to actually remove the table, it's kind of out of the way and allows you to do the things you want to do in the van. And to get access to the fridge, you just rotate it out of the way, and there's the fridge. So now we've put the bench bed back in place, and just to kind of show what that looks like relative to the galley, and the galley and the bench bed are not meant to be connected to each other. The bench bed is really sort of its own isolated thing, and it's just fastened to the floor. In the back of this is kind of showing the drawer front for that additional storage, and also the power slide in the back of the bench bed. Now we're showing the ceiling of the van and the pop top, and this is really sort of the critical thing that needs to be done in order to be able to get the upholstered walls in, because we can't do the upholstered walls until this is done. And of course, before we do this, we'll be running some wires for lighting and other things. We've got some speaker wire that has to be run up there, so that'll be all run behind the upholstered wall panels. But we're using the Field Van pop top. It's motorized, and it's a fantastic product. They've been doing it for years, and we're big fans of it. We've actually used it camping, and can't say enough things about it, good things about it. But we will be probably building our own bed for it, and right now I'm planning on using a honeycomb panel that's actually used quite a bit in marine boat building as sort of the foundation for the bed, and then the bed itself, we're thinking about a 6-inch laminated foam mattress. So, but again, we still have a little bit of due diligence to do there on the mattress. Um, Once we have those upholstered wall panels in, then we can put in sort of the last big furniture piece, which is this full height cabinet that's going in the back. I'm showing it with the hanging locker door open. The top of it will be sort of an open cubby, sort of with one part of it kind of having a face and partially enclosed. We're planning on using that to kind of stuff soft goods and bedding and things like that, pillows, comforters, maybe sleeping bags. On the back side of this cabinet will be a outdoor shower, hot cold outdoor shower. Adjacent to that is going to be a waterproof AC outlet. The reason why we have that there is both in case we want to do some induction cooktop cooking off of this drawer is extended back out the rear doors of the van, but also to provide power for the Bosch water heater. There's a 4-gallon water heater that's located right in the sort of the base and back of this cabinet. And all the controls for controlling the heat, etc., or the temperature for that water are all on the face of this water heater, so it's easy to get to. Adjacent to the outdoor shower, there'll be a switch, push button switch for the water pump, so you can activate the water pump. And then above that, we'll put a little wand holder for taking showers out the back of the van. So really nice place to take outdoor showers. And yeah, so that's and a tambour door in front of the hanging locker and some other additional storage, but also underneath here, in addition to the hot water heater, will be where the subwoofer is going to be located. Our ARB twin air compressor is going to be located down there. We have a Renogy DC to DC charger plus solar controller that's also going to be located under there. There's going to be a terminal block for managing the DC circuits. That's all located under there. And then to get access to that, we'll have removable panels in the bottom of this of these lockers and these storage, so you can access all of these things that are sort of located underneath. And then also the hot water heater is going to have some quick disconnects associated with the plumbing for it, so it's going to be easy to, something happens or you want to replace it or do some maintenance on it, it's going to be fairly easy to pull that out. Plus this panel, this sort of laminated plywood panel that's on the front here with the outdoor shower, that's also going to be meant to be removable. So it's going to be easy to access all these things. We're always thinking about future maintenance and making sure that all the systems are easily accessible. On the front of this, on this panel, will be the breaker box, the AC breaker box too. Okay, so next, once we have this full height cabinet in place, then we can put the upper cabinet above the galley, and that's going to have 2 hinge doors opening upwards. And then in front of that will be these Rockville speaker pods that we're mounting to the ceiling, the surround around the pop top, to provide some rear sound for the just to have great sound while we're driving the van. And that's the same. Okay. And then, okay, so lastly, kind of the last thing we're thinking about is for this van is what to do with my bicycle. So I'm a cyclist. I envision taking my bike with me while we're traveling and basically using the van as sort of a home base for cycling adventures, and just basic training. So I was really thinking about while I was designing this, thinking about how could I do this? How could I get a bike into the van without disrupting all the sleeping and the sitting and the furniture layout, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought about, well, I could take the cushions, move this back cushion off the back of the bed, and maybe take take the wheel off and put the bike there, or maybe flatten the bed out and take all the cushions off. But what I was really thinking about is there enough room in the back of this van and enough height to be able to mount the bike in such a way that it'll be easy to access from the back of the van? And essentially that's what we did. So this is essentially a fork mount that'll be mounted to the full height cabinet. I'm going to just take the wheel off the front wheel off the bike, mount it to that fork mount, and it'll be fine. It'll be perfect, and it'll be out of the way. We can still use the bed. We can even sleep on the bed, and it'll be really easy to get access to that bike moving in and out of the van. Now, of course, while the bike's in place, getting access to this hang locker is not going to be super convenient, but it's one of those compromises that I think we're willing to make. So obviously, while the bike's in there, this door will be closed. But I think that's okay, because if we really need access to that hang locker, we just pull the bike out temporarily, and you can have access to it. Plus, there's plenty of other storage for things. So I think that's fine. Anyway, so that is the Eiger-3 Camper build phasing from the back. I hope you enjoyed it.